Hurry, Revan. The infection runs too deep. The limb is already advanced to a late stage of decay. This isn't natural. I've never seen anything like this before. Get me the medications in the stall above you, and some stitching thread.
Don't rush me, woman. You are making this needlessly difficult. If the infection is spreading, we can just amputate it and I'll cauterize it with my fire.
No! Not everything has to be fixed with brute force. Just get me what I asked for while I prepare the cleansing bath. I'll add some of my flowers to the basin and boil. Once it's ready, we'll dunk the limb in the bath and it should stop the spread. Anything lost to the decay will have to be excised.
Fine, but this I can help with. You want that water to boil? Your wish is my command. What?
Careful! You can't just use your fire in the open like that.
Look at them. The infection sent them into shock. They're unconscious. They won't see anything. Now, aren't you the one who's in a hurry to help them? I've boiled the water for you. Now you prepare the flower thing.
Risky, but it worked this time, so I'll let it slide. No more flames in the open. If people get suspicious, one of them is bound to start something. I'll reprimand you more later. I just have to save a life real quick. Don't worry, dear. We'll get you all better again. Well, I think that did the trick. The Moonbells were able to fight off the decay and restore most of what was lost. But not everything. Whatever this was, it wasn't something that happened by happenstance. It felt, dark. Like it desired to hurt that poor soul. Like it had a will of its own. Strange, I know, but that's what I gleaned. I'm rarely unfamiliar with an ailment.
So, you don't think it was natural, but somehow a malevolent power that was affecting that mortal. Huh. So that's what I sensed. I felt the same. Indeed, it's not natural. Mankind has achieved various magics in this world. But that level of decay, that was beyond what any mere mortal could inflict. It was most likely demonic in nature.
Demonic? Like demons? They actually exist?
Yes. And they are the most unsavory creations that ever left the hands of Father.
Yeah, so I was chained to the moon for over 100 years. You might have to fill me in on some of these things.
As you wish. You see, my brothers and I were not the first living creations of Father. He first started with the creation of 10 other beings. They had no forms or shape, and they were beings created of energy and spirit, just like Father at the time. They were his first. They existed before existence. However, with the first instances of free will, they eventually grew jealous of Father and his power. So they banded together and tried to usurp him, devour his essence, and become gods themselves. But they underestimated the true power of their creator. And so, he bound them into bodies that he was creating for them as gifts, and then locked them away in a realm known as Gehenna. It's far apart from the rest of creation. And that is where they rot for eternity. Or at least it was, until they found a way to temporarily shake their bindings and return to the world of man. They now harvest souls from my father as an act of defiance to his greater will. Sadly, if there is any flaws with my father, it's that he's too soft. I would have wiped them from existence if I were in his place. But he sees all life as his children. much to my chagrin. Now they continue their feeble rebellion by harming those he cares for. Like, for instance, maybe that mortal we just healed could explain why it tried to fight your flowers instead of just succumbing to the purification. The audacity to fight the divine belongs to those 10 heinous ones alone.
So, you have 10 estranged older siblings who wreak havoc on the worlds. Well, I guess that explains a bit about some of the anomalies I felt while I was on the moon, but I could never fully understand it.
Most tragedies that befall humans can be attributed to them. Funnily enough, I'm not the only one who's been causing pain around the worlds. Plagues, famine, crazed murder, insanity, despair. These are all their tools to alter one's fate. It's hard to say, but there's a chance they were behind the blue blight that caused your village and your family to wither away. Ergo, causing your path to becoming a healer, and eventually pissing me off enough that I married you to keep you away from the worlds. I won't deny my part in it, but would you have become the renowned healer if that plague never destroyed your life and sent you on that path?
Point taken. So, the odd energy from the decay, that's what a demon's power feels like?
Well, yes and no. What I felt there was mostly demonic, but also the work of mankind's glyphcraft. And even more confusing,
A hint of divinity?
so, you felt it too, huh? Then I'm not crazy. Mankind's magic is derived from an imitation of the divine. So I'm sure that's the explanation, but still, the fact that it was enough for 2 divines to even sense it is cause for concern.
So then, what if it isn't a demon? What if it's something else entirely? Like a hybrid?
Such a thing should be impossible. The demons cannot create their own life, and that was one of the reasons why they rebelled. As a punishment, they cannot procreate either.
Didn't you say they found a way to slip out of their first punishment? Gehenna. Don't you think it's a possibility they could have found a workaround for that too?
But how? That seems like something we would have noticed. If they were able to do something like that under our noses, the idea seems excessive. Perhaps they have just found a way to use mankind's glyphs to their own benefit. Or maybe they've achieved it through the soul of a human. All possibilities seem impossible. If it was a mix of just 2, then possibly. But mankind, demons, and divinity all combine? Those powers would have cannibalized themselves. A combination of intrinsically differing powers seems something that only Father can do. Whatever it is, it's a mystery, and I hope it stays that way, and doesn't rear its ugly head again.
Well, even though it fought and resisted the medicine, I still out-healed it. Barely. But if it evolves, that can be an issue. The last thing we want is a sickness to grow an immunity for the medicine. I need to find out more about this demon decay so I can study it and find out how to keep it from spreading. Looks like I've found my next big project.
Huh. The way your face lights up like the dawn of day when faced with a potentially dangerous challenge will never cease to befuddle me. But it's nice, to know you find pleasure in your work. I've done nothing but follow a sense of duty that turned out to be a lie I made up for myself. And that lie didn't even bring me joy. Perhaps I should pick up a mortal hobby of my own. If it really makes you that happy, couldn't hurt to try. I've got 200 years of this with you, so I've plenty of time to regret it if I don't like it. I've already dipped my toes in wood scorching. I've undertaken a nice little project. I'm using my fire to burn brand a sign that we could hang over the door. So far it just says Luna's Apothecary, and a couple of moons and flowers, and seems concise.
Really? You're making that for us? Well, it's very sweet of you. What if we did something a little different? Why not try something like Kingsley Apothecary? You're here too, you know. And don't think I haven't paid attention to how you feel to people here too. You're just as much part of this place too, Rex. I mean, Revan Kingsley.
Sure, I can try that. But if it looks hideous, I'm burning it and going with the original idea. I don't take requests, you know. But I'll try it this once. Now, go find your decay or something. I'm gonna go burn stuff.
Huh? That robe. He was a Moon Knight? That's odd. So was the last one with similar rot. Strange. I don't like how that makes me feel.